much wards cost, you also have to think, how much does it cost me in time to go place these wards? And as KiwiKid is saying, you have to move your line of sight up very slowly, because if you venture very far into enemy territory without vision, then you could get picked off just trying to put down wards.
Oh, looks a team like this is very practiced with it. I'm pretty sure High knows which brushes to face check and which ones are double if death traps. So bans coming through. Lucian, Nidalee, smart ban against C9. It's High's best champ right now. Twitch as well. So Sneaky's losing his top two. Meanwhile, so far all mid lane focused bans from C9.
Yeah, a couple mid lane focused ones here. They saw the game, the LMQ game. Don't want to let him have Kassadin. It's a very popular pick all around, not just against AD heavy teams. I mean, if you go against an AD heavy team with Kassadin, then you can easily build all armor. But if you go against a Magic heavy team, that's what his kit is actually built to go against.
Sure,
so he's pretty much an all-around very strong champion right now.
Definitely is. Right now the third mid lane ban comes out for C9, and I wonder if they can make Void tunnel onto what Lulu and Yasuo, the two that I see when he doesn't get the rest of this pool up. But that does give options for Curse either way, so even that's not too bad.
And I would think that Lulu would be a fairly big priority for them, because High also would rely on that champion. It's a strong laning champion, which would help him out a lot, and also very quick to roam. She has her own speed boost built in. So I like the pick here. Curse taking it away from Cloud9 in one fell swoop.
They lock in the next few grabs, though. Guess the third pick AD carry is going to be Corki there. Sneaky's going to play that one. Lee Sin coming in for Meteos as well.
Now these two picks immediately, right off the bat, signal Cloud9 are looking for early game power spikes here. Corki has an intense mid game here. Falls off a bit later, but Lee Sin plays right into the same game plan. With these two picks, they have a very, very strong power curve for the beginning of this game. And we'll see how Cloud9 can utilize that, because that really plays into their style that we've come to know and love. Strong early game, getting down those vision wards, and continuing to snowball that into the fairly early leads, fairly early wins that they even used to get.
Yeah, that's the weird thing with Cloud9, though, is like the fact that they've been slumping this split. They've been playing much slower games. They seem to be taking less risks early on, and yeah, picking champs that'll actually play into the old style. If they can force that out, that would be good for them. I will dominate, looking for the Elise, and I'm not surprised that Braum is actually the real grab here for Curse. No. Jax Braum. All right, well, will Jax have an 8-game losing streak now is the question.
Yeah, I mean, Jax has had a fairly bad showing the last week in LCS. However, champion all around still strong. So if Curse can actually get to the point and utilize the split pushing power of a fed Jax well, they can easily outlast this Cloud9 team. The only problem is Cloud9 have already built their squad around the early game, so they're obviously trying to end it before Jax can really become a main factor. Should turn out to be more of a waiting game here. Lulu, for Curse as well, is going to do a really good job supplementing that early game, because Lulu's biggest strengths are coming from supplementing the power of other carries on the team. So she should be able to be a buffer.
Yeah, Lulu Jax all going to be kinds of fun, and of course you even got the Braum initiate, so I like Curse's lineup so far. Again, the locks come in. C9 never hovers champions. They're just locked at the same time. Thresh Renekton comes.
Yeah, talk about early game.
Yeah.
Cloud9 are just front-loading all of the power here. Caught playing with the crowd's hearts.
It's unlikely. We lost out on Yellow Pete, so I think we have very few Urgot mains left in competitive, and if we see him come back, it wouldn't be sad.
Let's see here. Comp is very big on Caitlyn when all these other AD carries have been banned out, so might revert to that. Caitlyn would also do a good job shoring up their early game so that they don't have a bunch of losing lanes. They just have one side lane where they want to get Jax fed.
I'm trying to think. It is going to be Jinx here.
Interesting.
So not a lot of heal necessarily. I guess it depends how Braum plays, but you're definitely far in the back lines, and Jack's going to wreak havoc anyway.
Yeah, they have two very strong late game carries for Lulu to buff up. So I kind of like this Curse with two very strong late game threats. However, either of them could be shut down pretty quickly with a good ulti from TF. If he's able to catch Jinx out, she has no repositioning. So it's pretty much all going to be up to Braum and Lulu to protect Cop.
See if they can do that one. Jump in, put the shield up in time. You can block a gold card, but it's all about the coordination in this one. I guess you wouldn't actually stand behind me towards the teleport location until TF shows. So you actually have to run in the spot. Braum's W otherwise puts you near it, like close to the nearest enemy. So that'll be a fun one to look for, see if they can interact with that one properly. But yeah, so Cloud9 still no great late game savior here. I feel like they have to get stuff done in the first 25 minutes.
Yeah, they have so many tools to get it done, though. Yeah. Adding in a TF as the last pick for an early game team is really, really strong. All of these lanes should be winning on their own so far, and the jungles match up very well. So it pretty much frees up TF as long as Meteos can protect high to get to 6. Not only are you going to have Lee Sin ganks, but you're going to have ganks from high all over the place. They're going to focus down these 2 carries on the side lanes, the Jinx and the Jax. And if they have a really rough early game, they won't be able to get to that point where they can carry.
It's true. It's good. It's a good chance for C9 to make this happen early on. So let's see who you guys are picking to take this game over at lolesports.com. Right now, you guys are saying Cloud9's going to win. 83% of you say that.
But now that you've seen the team comps, you can also update your vote by either tweeting CRS win or C9 win. And we'll be checking back in on the poll shortly.
So here we go, guys. The beginning of week 5 in North America. Curse, you saw their most recent record, 2-3 across their last 5 games. Constantly, their losses are heartbreaking. They could just as easily have been 8-2 right now instead of around 3-7 for themselves. Like they're right on the cusp for so many of their different games. And this
got a little sun there as well. Curse.
Yeah,
Curse got burned. Did you see the photo shoot? Foyboy was actually tweeting out a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
Can't wait for what the actual photo shoot was about because it should look good. Cop is in a Caitlyn outfit.
I was a little confused looking at it. I didn't know what to think entirely.
Wait until they're done, and we'll be able to evaluate. Now, Curse, though, this game should be very interesting because Curse, they definitely have the possibility of outscaling Cloud9 pretty heavily, actually. But there are a couple weak points that Cloud9 could attack. These 2 hyper carries are both attack speed driven. They're both attack speed oriented, Jax and Jinx. So I would expect Cloud9 to get a lot of Randuins. This is still 4.9, by the way. Randuin Omen not nerfed yet. So it's a very strong item against the carries here from Curse. As well, they might even try and fit in a Frozen Heart on somebody. Doesn't look like they have any good options to buy that.
At least, or are you saying
Cloud9
on C9 side?
If they could find somebody to get a Frozen Heart, Frozen Heart TF, dude. Yeah, High's gonna be an innovator here.
I guess Thresh is like the most likely in terms of like your other melee champions are Renekton and Lee Sin, who don't exactly want to buy mana.
Yeah.
There's definitely the chance you could do it, right? You get what Locket Lee Sin, and you get Frozen Heart Thresh. I'm just trying to find out ways that'll make it work. I could
really the obvious choice is going to be double Randuin's Renekton and Lee Sin.
Well, yeah,
but on top of that,
and then walk
see
what
they can get. Yeah.
It's actually interesting. If you're Braum, you can buy Randuins and you force them to hit you, and you can slow them down. You're like extra tanky for your team. Cool stuff.
Good thing Chris took away Braum.
Yeah, good thing they grabbed that one out there. Okay, I'm just talking about theoretics that they're fun for me. By the way, the reason the game hasn't started yet, Cop had an issue with Runes and Mastery, so we remade the game. They're back in Champ Select. The game will be loading up in about a minute and a half from now. So don't worry, everything's still under control for everybody. So I'm trying to think about all the Twisted Fate games I've seen recently because I feel like it's been really hit and miss. So over in Europe last week, Fnatic vs SK, a lot of the reason TF paid off was SK made some really weird moves that made them burn flashes for no reason. And then Peke just got to show up to fights randomly and pick people off. When SK was like really greedy in the wrong side of the jungle. We saw CLG versus C9, and Link couldn't ever really reach the backline properly. C9 got a comeback win on that game.
The thing is, for this game, I feel like since side lanes really should be winning in almost all scenarios for Cloud9, that Jax and Jinx are constantly going to be low, and they're going to have to be playing defensive. So TF, he'll have openings. Like these side lanes could very well burn summoners by themselves. I mean, Renekton, a 1 versus 1, of course he's going to destroy Jax. However, even in a 1 versus 2, if the lanes do shake out, he is going to be better off in that 1 versus 2 than Jax. And Renekton and Lee Sin have kill pressure on this Jinx lane, even if there is a Braum jumping in there. True. They both have dashes. They both have very strong early games. So even in the 2 versus 1
versus 0
switches up, Cloud9 really have a lot of options for High to travel to.
It's actually an interesting thing if they do go for 2v0 lanes. Touching again back on the Fnatic vs SK match from last week, Fnatic picked TF and in the 2v0 chose to kill the outer turret fairly early, so that when lanes kind of went back to equal, there was a dead turret allowing TF ganks to be a lot easier. There was nothing to run to.
Yeah, Cloud9 would love if turrets on either side go down early. The more room that High has to work with, the better for them. So we'll have to see if there is a 2 versus 1 switch. I mean, Cop can take down turrets very quickly. We always talk about how Jinx is one of the best AD carries for taking down those early turrets. But really, Curse want to have as long of a calm laning phase for the beginning as they can possibly get. Let's see if they can control it. A lot of that is going to be up to Voyboy as well. When you're playing against TF, warding around your mid lane is even more important. Voyboy's going to want to not only control his lane by shoving, but also get wards on both sides of mid so he can see which side High is leaking towards and has a tendency to go gank, so they can call those TF movements out.
They missed that ward. It's not in the brush.
I mean,
silly Curse.
The importance of Voyboy's warding this time is going to be very big, and it brings back that stat where High really has been the mid laner. He's bought almost twice as many wards as Voyboy, so maybe Curse will have switched that up this game and try and contain that TF.
I wonder if we're ever going to see more than like 2, maybe even 3 sites within a team before. Like junglers are starting to get one now, even if they're not Lee Sin. Occasionally, I want to see like High by a site stone on like TF.
If you're not roaming around as a jungler or a roaming support, I guess, then it's kind of hard to really justify that because you do lose out a lot of lane power for your laning phase. So I don't think it will become popular too quickly, but Darian says otherwise. He's done it on top lane Jax.
Yeah. Hey man, he'll buy Death Cap on Shyvana. He doesn't care about anything. The man's an innovator.
All right, so we do get those lane swaps though. We will have the double jungles for both these guys. Meanwhile, it's going to be the mid lane's just heads-up battle. They do have to worry about these double jungles collapsing at any moment. Cloud9 with the level 1 dragon here, only Meteos level 2. So this one is really, really quick. Usually the teams will get that second buff first and get it around the 3.5 minute mark, but Cloud9 are trying to keep Curse off kilter here. Curse, they're doing a good job juggling this aggro, by the way, which is what you have to do. You absolutely have to do this. Look at the dragon, doesn't know where to go. Freak. Which one? Who do I attack? Meteos, no, let me check it.
Meteos taking damage again. Oh, he's losing down to 300 health. Okay, smited.
Whew. So,
this took 30 seconds, by the way.
And what teams have been doing when they go for these switches, Curse knows that they're going to be giving up this early dragon. Teams have been timing the early dragons at 330 and just saying, we're giving this one up, it's probably down at 330, and they time the second dragon off of that. What C9 have done is, get that timer wrong for Curse. So if they can get an early jump on the second dragon, that can be a very, very strong chain for them because they definitely have the stronger teamfight team. So the chain of dragons looks to be very promising for Cloud9 in this game.
Yeah.
And it looks like they don't even want to defend that top turret. They'd be happy just exchanging, keeping their duo in the jungle here.
Yeah, Curse are happy just to keep the farm going. The only really signal they have about that dragon respawn is they saw Lemma go back to lane at like 320.
Yeah.
Maybe it's enough of a signal. Dominate boss, though.
The classic mid gank here. High's accustomed to it, though. Well played by High. Keeping pretty safe. He's also doing well in CS against Lulu. Voyboy does have more minions to clean up here, though. So High definitely is down a few, as expected early.
So C9's still going to look and say, yep, we still kind of jungled that red buff and didn't clear the marker. Interestingly, they probably could clear it now and have a completely screwed up timer against their opponents, and I don't think Curse would ever know when it respawns.
Yeah,
but
I have seen a couple teams do that, and I was very impressed.
The late clean. All right, now looks like actually this could be a freeze. There's a bigger wave now for Curse on this bot side, so Sneaky can permanent freeze this. Dominate looks again for the mid lane. Look how far High stays to the right-hand side, knowing all ganks come from the northwest.
You pretty much have to do that nowadays as a mid laner. Hug the side where your duo is because you give up the top side jungle. When you have nobody in top lane, this is definitely no man's land up here for Curse.
Ooh, almost.
Sneaky tried to steal right there for High. Doesn't quite get it, though.
So I guess the real CS marker then is you compare the jungle and top lane, compared to the jungle and top lane. Dominate and Quas actually significantly higher, 28 to 18. I don't believe I saw them like counter jungle anything special or like even take really lane tax. So I feel like the farm is just going better for Curse, and they've gotten the recall once.
Yes, they're doing pretty well on the farm. It's just that dragon giving the extra gold over to Cloud9.
Yeah.
You do have to give up some farm. You will get behind when you do go for that dragon. Spend some time getting it, but it was definitely worth it. I like the off-timer that they've got for it, and I really was impressed by the way they jungled aggro, because really it's just been a couple of teams that have done that really effectively, and even Cloud9 before, when they've attempted to do that aggro jungling on the Dragon, have taken a few too many hits.
Yeah, absolutely, but it looks like these guys did it very well. Dominate actually takes a slightly risky play and actually taking a camp in the southern jungle. Completely nuts, but he made it happen.
Yeah, well, around the 6-minute mark, both guys kind of returned to their sides. They had a jungler's agreement here. Cloud9 putting up a perimeter of defensive pink wards. I really like early defensive pink wards because you can defend those ones, that they're in your territory, and you can start fights over the vision. We've talked about how vision is a very important objective for all the teams. They are willing to fight over those pink wards as well and collapse on them. If Curse jumped into that backside bush, though, they would be able to get it for free. Again, very good defensive play by High. It looks like he's not doing much here, but he's been able to avoid several of these 3-man ganks in a row from Curse and really just use up their time.
That pink ward right there is superhero for him. Let him spot all these. Special gets his own pink ward found. Actually, Mita's going to lose his on top of this, but Cloud9's coming in. Dominate actually might be in the wrong spot. Flash stun comes in. Big damage comes through. Blocked up by Special. And now here comes Quas as well, forcing Mita to jump away. The flash stun in on 3. Mita's flash equipment. There comes Voyboy. First blood goes to Voyboy, but now Sneaky joins the fight of 4 versus 4. Now Cop's in the mix as well. Looks like another stun's going to come across. C9 do not want to stop this. Ulti pop by Voice. Slow lands in a High. Looks like Kerr's going to grab this red buff.
So Cloud9 had the idea to counter this second buff steal from Curse. However, they only brought 4 members to the party. Curse brought their full weight. Their whole team here, all 5 members join, and they get the advantage. Not only do they get the first blood, also steal away the red, and they've been able to even up the gold lead. Let's see how they do on that Dragon timer, though. So, good plan by Cloud9. They had everybody almost right there, but they weren't able to burst down Dominate. And because they can't burst down Dominate, Cloud9 come out on the losing end because the extra man from Curse here in that jungle invade. Now, what Curse sacrificed for that was extra farm for balls down there in the bottom lane on that Renekton. So it's going to be a very scary story for Quas when he does meet up with balls, because Renekton already big advantage over Jackson lane, and now he's going to have an experience advantage. We'll see if Cloud9 go for a dive on this Jax. Balls fully charged up on his Fury, and they have a pretty good wave here. Minos is heading down.
Quas matches in levels right now. Ball's very close to 6. There's TF coming as well. High has the ulti. There's it pop right there. Quas in the mix. And it's going to be aggro pulled up by Ball. Stuns landing and big damage down onto Quas. He does not have flash. He has nowhere to go. The kill goes over to High. He's got to drop this aggro, though he's taking a lot of turret shots. Takes a shield, and he's okay.
Classic Cloud9. They get Balls a little bit of an advantage in the lane. Solo experience down there. And then immediately gank for him. Quas, not only did he lose out on kill gold there, but he also lost out on some minions. Dominate's able to get there in time to soak it up. In exchange for this, Cloud9, though, nothing is free here. They made that move bottom. Voyboy got to shove 2 waves into that mid turret. This one is a cannon as well. Mito's really going to want to smite that one.
All right. Some gold back. This turret losing a lot of health. Cop staying in cannon form, interestingly enough. And the hook's going to land. Voyboy's going to stay okay. This turret losing a whole lot of health right now. Shield comes onto Cop. They're going to stay for it. Turret picked up. Curse taking down the first turret of the game.
That's going to do a lot for Curse because this Dragon is up now. Quas does not have his teleport, but he's not laning against Balls up in the top side. He's laning against Sneaky. And Cloud9, without their Corki, it's going to be much, much harder for them to contest this. Curse really just take over the bottom side jungle, taking this opportunity not only to counter jungle that's blue, but get a lot of vision deep in the Cloud9 jungle down here. This might even result in the second Dragon actually going for Curse.
Wow, beautiful play so far by the Curse squad right now. They're pretty much equal in gold. They've traded kills. They've traded a couple of objectives. And there we go. Dragon number 2 being started up in view of a ward, but Curse don't seem to care, nor does Cloud9. Instead, C9 goes for the mid lane. It's going to be Dragon spited away, but mid lane turret now taking some damage, but Curse are coming.
Cloud9 not going to be able to finish this turret here. Very quick swing over here from the Dragon squad of Curse. They get up to mid lane in time to defend it, and Cloud9 just lose out on the objective.
Wow, so very well done now. Curse looking to be 700 gold in the lead. Meteos again playing Pink Ward Wars in this side of the jungle. Standard order of abilities. Save the safeguard in case you need to run away. He's going to be nice and fine. You're seeing how the gold stacks up. The tiniest of leads for Balls. Meteos about the same place as well.
Quas not feeling too bad now that he hit that level 6. That's what you really want on Jax. Just the ability to trade so much more effectively when you can stack up your empowered strike on minions and then go for a trade. But as soon as you see that Fury bar hit red, it's got to back off.
Yeah, 1.5 second stuns, or is it 2 1/4? Pretty hard to deal with. So,
and it goes
right
through Counter-Strike is really the biggest deal there for Renekton.
That's the crazy thing too, is like the ability only lasts 2 seconds. You're stunned for the entire duration of your dodge. And life is just kind of painful when you're Jax in that case. So, Quas playing to the back, but again, Curses are fine just waiting and saying, you know what, 30 minutes in, we'll just have better champions than you. So, not forcing too many issues yet.
And it's so impressive how Curse really made that move mid. They took out the mid turret, which is a fulcrum for Cloud9, to really channel their early game power around the jungle and exert their will on these early jungle invades. But Curse, by taking that mid turret, enabling them to get this deep vision on the blue side, they've gained so much for this early and mid game in which their champions were going to be a little bit lackluster. They've really made up for it here, and it's looking very, very good for Curse.
Dominate saw that ward go down, so they know Meteos is on this side of the map, towards the right-hand side. Quas knows he's got no pressure on him. Voivoid kind of the same, but to look out for his right. Although right now Meteos is running by some wards, so even still, you talk about that deep east jungle vision, and right now it's working entirely in Curse's favor.
Yeah, Dominate's spending a lot of time in Meteos' side of the map here. Meteos having to vacate his own jungle. Does not like that. Is going to start falling a little bit behind here. Already down in some CS.
So Quas again looking to push Balls away. He's doing pretty well. He's down 15 CS, but that number is pretty much holding right now. I don't think it's going to move too much in any direction until maybe recalls without teleports or a gank happens here. So
now, the thing that Balls has been able to do here is make Quas use his teleport for laning. Unless Quas decides to walk all the way back.
Nope.
Okay, yeah, so he's been able to make him use his teleport for laning, which is a fairly big win for Cloud9. Because he shoved the wave all the way in, he can probably walk back to lane without losing too much. And then they can try and make a play on the other side of the map. But yeah, very, very strong start here.
Play on backwards. TP comes in as well. Who are they going to catch? Xpecial going to land some stuns on the high, but there comes Meteos as well. The aggro on Lemonation is going to hold that for some time, and Cop will go down, picked up. Lemonation's 11th kill of the split. Xpecial will get out, but look at that.
Another good game for High, and the gold graph might go back the other way here because they do pick up a turret as well. Cloud9 again, another TF ulti, another tower taken. Quas though answers up top.
Cloud just ignores Balls for walking back to lane, just keeps right-clicking at that thump sound. It's going to work pretty well. Cloud9 though still 3-1 pushing bot lane. No one's really here to defend it.
Yeah, what we saw up at that top lane is you respect a Jax who's got a fully stacked passive on a turret, as well as an ultimate charge. Wow, High walks through.
And he gets cocooned as well. This is not good for High. Can he get away? Oh, locks a blue card. There's the repel. And a kill picked up for Curse in the mid lane. They've still got time to push down mid as well.
Yes, Cloud9 continue to lose out here. Curse pushing 2 lanes, while Cloud9 only get to push 1. They do exchange turrets though. Still barely ahead in gold. See if they can make use of the next TF ultimate as effectively as the first 2. See, up top in the lane here, Balls has been able to shove Quas back as well. But now that Jax also has some sustain with the Cutlass, he's feeling a lot more confident staying there longer.
You're seeing him be a little bit lower on health right now, and TP is down for a minute and a half, so maybe Balls finds his way in, and maybe High shows up to secure the kill before the teleport does come back up, but they're still battling back and forth. 10 CS difference, again, not really bad for Quas here, so he's completely held up very nicely in the matchup when it did swap back.
Yeah, and look at the teleport cooldown as well. Because he teleports to the turret, gets the reduced duration of that, and it might even be back up in time before Balls gets to make a play with his teleport advantage. Mid rotation here from Curse though, trying to put pressure on High. TF ulti going to come back up in another 20 seconds.
Well, Small wanted to make a play, just maybe. Looks like mid lane is the focus right now for Curse. Blue buff swept away. Looks like High did get that, so at least the eastern jungle was held securely. Red buff is respawned up in the north. I don't believe anyone's grabbed that just yet, and Curse not really playing on that side of the map right now.
No, they're pressuring mid here. Very strong four-man squad, actually. You can see they've got a lot of wave clear with this Rockets plus the Glitter Lance from Boy Boy. And so much threat of picking somebody off, even at a turret there with the Elise Cocoon. I have to note that especially going cooldown reduction boots on Braum is actually a fairly defensive buy, because Braum's abilities add so much defense to the rest of his team. You don't have to buy items with defensive stats. The cooldown reduction allows him to protect Cop easily. It also allows him to get more stuns off because he's able to use Winter's Bite more often. Like the early pickup from him. We'll see how it does work out, though, because when Braum uses Stand Asides and puts up the shield, he's the one getting focused. So he does need some meat on his bones as well.
We'll see if he can do it then. He's going to rely on damage reduction, but yeah, a lot of his abilities actually scale off the stats. So
going to need that health.
Yeah, you're going to want some. We'll see when he starts upgrading things. Right now, he's not going to do that. Cloud9 still taking their time with this one. Gold basically equal between these teams. 16.5 minutes in. You gotta wonder when these things start spiking out. Sneaky will now start his Triforce.
And look at the teleport. It has come back up for Quas. Oh, he uses it back to lane. This is Cloud9. They should be able to get this dragon. Jax just uses teleport top. Quas or Balls can easily call that. Definite dragon for Cloud9. Let's see if we can get a crazy steal.
Not at all. Wow, Curse giving a lot of deference to Cloud9 right now, saying, again, if we go back to the early champs like thing, I guess they can just wait and they don't take any risks.
So Quas and Curse as a whole make the choice because they're very well aware Dragon's up. They say, yes, Quas, go ahead. Use your teleport to get back top. We want more farm on Jax. We are okay with giving up the 17-minute Dragon. 17-minute Dragon worth a lot more at this stage of the game, though, than the beginning ones. And he only got an extra wave or so there with that teleport. However, you know, he was able to defend the top turret as well. We'll see how that choice does end up for Curse. Cloud9 bringing that gold back to very, very close to even here.
You got to be concerned right now if you're Cloud9. 500 gold lead. They're still down a turret actually in this game as well. That Dragon only kind of equalizing that mark. High. Got to be careful about a little bit of this poke. Both the AD carries still kind of holding very, very equal marks as well. You got to consider these that the power spikes really consider with his Cloud9 lineup. Actually, they're still coming, to be fair.
I mean, there's a definitely mid-game oriented here. Corky's got a while to go still. He hasn't, his curve has not started to turn downwards yet. He's still very much on the upswing once he gets his Trinity Force. That will be the really big mid-game for him. So Cloud9 don't have to start panicking yet because it's only 18 minutes in and it's only a single item Jax. However, you can see Balls doesn't really get to push him around anymore.
Yeah, the number has gotten, well, up until now, it was getting better and better, and Quas was within about 4 minions right here, and you're seeing him. I mean, it's the fact that he's holding up against Renekton 1v1, has Ruin King done, hasn't really died outside of mid-lane global teleport ganks, you gotta say. It's an impressive performance right here.
The other thing I'm interested to see, you know, can Curse get any picks here? Because Lemonation got a really early mobility boots plus Mikhail's Crucible. It's a very good pickup because really the only thing they have to worry about is that cocoon, random cocoons coming out from the side that he can Mikhail somebody from and get somebody out of a pick here for Cloud9. Especially if they want to use this TF as a very aggressive initiate. They might need that really early for High, since High has not been able to complete an early Zhonya's. He's gone with the Athenes first, and his Zhonya's is going to be a while to complete. True. If they use an aggressive TF initiate early here, they might need some extra defense to get him out.
Yeah, High about 1,000 gold to go, so he doesn't have more in his pockets right here. So we'll get that before too long to start out fights. I'm actually curious to see that Cloud9 hasn't been playing around the bottom lane, actually. And that's the one lane with 2 turrets dead, and that's the lanes you want to try to kill if you're TF. Because people will be exposed. Curse, they don't stay there very long, certainly, but C9 aren't forcing the issue down there either.
Yeah, and you can see the vision kind of lacking on that side for them as well. Cloud9 spent a lot of vision in their own side of the jungle to try and get Curse away from their top side. They don't want this Jax to be able to split push up top effectively. However, they could gain a lot by pressuring that bottom side because you always want to pressure the inhibitor that's furthest away from Baron for those Baron baits.
Right now, not going to be on the table right now for Cloud9. Their actual Baron killing is pretty slow anyway, so not a big concern for either team. I think Curse probably Actually, definitely the better Baron killing team here. They've got a Jinx and a Jack for the Ruin King, so at some point that's on the table, and Cloud9's got to be careful about that one. Big waves starting to push out of Curse's base on the bottom side. That will require C9 attention in a wave or two. Balls and Quas again in a battle. Ball still holds a level lead, but you're seeing Quas actually starting to bully him around. You see Balls like running away from these and being a bit more careful. And he's actually starting on magic resist items as well, so Quas will actually get even better comparatively in that matchup.
Yeah, he and the rest of Curse are all feeling pretty good about the way that this early game has gone, especially that matchup. I mean, he's been content to constantly use his teleport to get back to lane here, pretty much on cooldown every time he gets bullied out, and that's what's really kept him up in CS. TF teleport.
All right, here's the attempt. Voidboy hastes himself up, gets out of range. Wow, TF ulti for basically a whimsy cooldown. Curse, nothing happens to them, and Cloud9 still have not found their way in on this map.
Yeah, and that is just cresting this 21-minute mark here for Cloud9. Now they do start to worry because Curse really going to start to, uh-oh, High's in trouble now. Are they going to make him pay for that TF ulti?
Good flash. If he was ever in range of E, that was a pretty much guaranteed kill, so. But that's now High's ulti down, that's High's flash down, Curse barely using anything to force these things. And they're the ones already actually making moves now. They're the ones saying, hey, we can pick this guy off, and they're getting things for it.
Yeah, Cloud9 really, we're banking on that last mid-game TF ulti there to make something happen. Now it's really turning into a dire situation for them. That was the last outer turret going down for Cloud9. 4 turrets to 2 in Curse's favor. Not expected here. But now we'll see what Curse can do to actually control the dragon as well. Because teleport once again down for Quas due to using it for CS and for laning. Whereas Balls once again holds onto his teleport, walks back the lane. Quas has shoved the lane though, so he can actually just walk down if they really want to contest that dragon.
It's like he does not care at all. They are just saying, you know what, Quas, get as big as you can, keep fighting Balls, keep tabs on him. And now he's going to actually make his way down. 6 seconds till dragon spawns. Cloud9 cannot sweep away the wards.
At this point in the game, really all Curse have to do is threaten around this dragon and stall out Cloud9, because if Balls does teleport down to the dragon, okay, Cloud9 can get the dragon, but you know how fast Quas is going to kill that top lane turret? It's going to go down very easily in the trade for dragon, and Curse are okay with making that exchange. They're not even letting Cloud9 start up this dragon.
And speaking of making exchanges as well, I mean, look at the health bar starting to go down. Balls down below half HP, burns some Fury to get his health bar back up. Quas, though, counter-jungling. Look at the ward coverage as well. Counter-jungling the red buff is going to get it, and that's going to be really bad news for Balls. You can't fight that.
Yeah, Cloud9, really, they don't have a lot of options right now. I think this next TF ulti is going to be crucial. We'll have to see if Cloud9 actually get a little anxious with their next TF ulti, because they are feeling the pressure now. You have to definitely be calm about the next initiation, because Curse are the ones who can play that waiting game. Here comes the dragon. They've been able to clear out a bit of the vision.
This is weird. Sneaky hasn't bought in forever. He's still on Bloodthirster. He's been that way for 8 minutes or so. He's got to have most of Triforce here. Hasn't bought it though. Wow, Static Shiv's already done.
Yeah, he's coming out.
Good smite there. Dragon's picked up. Voidman's in the fight here. And there's teleport. Balls is going to make it through. So 5v4. They're going to pick up elimination. Voidman in the backline, so takes big damage. Balls has arrived. The knockups come around. Sneaky forced to run. He jumps away, but Void. Oh, the wild card's missed, but Meteos picks up the kill. Now Special goes down as well. And Curse are routed. They've lost 2-1 for now. There's the ulti coming in. They're going to find Cobb. Stuns there. Meteos there as well. And that's another kill picked up. Now Dominate repels in range of the golems. He gets out, but 3-1 plus Dragon for a turret.
Because Cloud9 were able to control the vision and dragon, Curse made the move a little bit late there. Just a matter of seconds that made the difference in that trade. Not only did Cloud9 get that dragon for the turret trade up top, but they got all the kills because Curse were so slow trying to contest that dragon. And they actually even answer a turret back. There's the momentum that Cloud9 were looking for. This is the mid game for them. We talked about Corki wanting to buy as well. He gets to do it after this. So Curse come in right after the dragon's dead because of the lack of vision. Balls, finally, there's the teleport. They collapse with TF as well. And you can see how easily this fight will go in Cloud9's favor, even though Lemon goes down at the beginning. Since he got the box up, he was able to keep Curse in the vicinity. And another good ulti there from High to chase someone down. So this is really the swing that Cloud9 have to work with. This is the wave that they need to ride to finish out this game.
Here's the first attempt of the way to push the game through. Triforce done on Corki. The makings of a death cap now for High as well. These guys are going to look pretty happy. Balls pretty much refusing to take damage, but here comes Xpecial though. A bit of a 2-on-1 until High can show up. Got to be a bit careful though, because you got some tanky dudes there. Blocks it all up. Not taking much damage.
Yeah, look at how much damage Balls took in comparison to Xpecial. The support tank barely took a scratch, whereas Balls gets chunked down below half health, has to recall to go deal with Quas.
It was interesting actually. Xpecial is maxing his E first, the Unbreakable. Winter's Bite's only got 3 points right now. I didn't know that was the standard build for support Braum, but that's what he's going for. Quas chunking a turret. Ball shows up, but turret will go down first.
And he's got that fully stacked passive auto attacks, but the reason that he backs off here is not because he's scared of Balls, it's because he has no vision. Sneaky gets caught here.
A little bit of damage from Dominate. Sneaky, though, going to heal up on the Bloodthirster. It's going to be not too much picked up, but there's the TF ulti. Can they find a pick? They go right in onto Xpecial. Good damage comes through, gets hooked up. Stun comes out, and High gets hit by a whole bunch, but they're going to TP in from the Jax as well. Can they get away? Dominate goes to the back lines here. 5-on-4, the engagement on Elimination. He's going to go down support for support so far. The giant Quas on the front lines. He's been wild. Growth the kick back, though. They find Void Boy. Nice kill picked up for Balls there. High lands another shot, and now Quas has been separated. He takes a whole bunch of pain. Can he jump away? Oh my gosh, he cannot. Down he goes. And now Baron's the target for C9.
Great job, Cloud9. They're riding that wave. High with another great TF ulti. And even though Quas teleports in, they're able to zone them out. Lemonation, once again, is the martyr for Cloud9. He does go down. Sneaky, can he zone?
Oh, he's going to force the flash. No, not a flash. That's walking away from Cop. No, that was a flash from Dominate.
Dominate. Look at his health.
Yeah, I didn't see him on the map. I didn't realize that was him. But yeah, flash from Dominate. I knew I saw that. So no smite still coming in. Cloud9 will secure this very nicely. Meteos grabs it. Hops to a teammate, and Cloud9 now up 5,000 gold.
Great job by Cloud9, able to stay patient there. Let's take another look at this. So High comes in and they started out. Lemonation with the hook. They also drag Xpecial, so Sneaky's able to move around the side. If you can get to the side of that shield, you can bypass the damage reduction. But again, the Martyr goes down. Great zoning here. Cloud9, look at Cop. He's not able to auto attack because Cloud9 split the team. They were able to separate Cop from his front line. And even though Jax there, Quas got his ward over the side and he was trying to jump over, Meteos had his Q on him already, so yeah, he was going to be able to follow. But really the key to that fight is the way that Cloud9 separated Cop from his front line. Yeah. So that even though they've got this Jinx, this great late game AD carry, not able to auto attack, doesn't translate into any damage for Curse, and a big win for Cloud9 there. Great positioning.
Yeah, absolutely well done by Sneaky specifically as well. He was the guy, the one dude who zoned him out, and he gets the rocks and that happens. He has helped the fight anyway, so definitely excellent stuff right here. 5,000 gold once again. 4.6 close enough. The lead. Cloud9 have the first two turrets in mid and bot lane, but top lane still ripe for the taking. We talked about power spikes a lot at the beginning for Cloud9. They have hit those right now. This is where they need to make their strong push. Look, the double Randuins we wanted, they've got it. They've got the Zanyas. They've got the Bloodthirster Trinity Force. They've got the AoE Magic Aura here, even coming in from Lemonation, on top of Mikhail's. This is everything that Cloud9 wants. They even have Baron buff. So this is their time to shine. The push from Cloud9 here is going to be crucial. Well, if Curse can hold it, keep in mind they still have the better scaling. If they can make this one take 15 more minutes, they can keep these turrets alive. Balls right now will take top outer, so progress being made. High there as well to help this happen. Looks like second tier is going to be under fire very soon. And Curse just playing in the defense. They're going to lose some more gold as they wait for the structures to fall, but they're going to hold inside for the inhibitors.
2 turrets go down in quick succession for Cloud9, upping the gold lead, also upping the map control. Now even up on turrets. Let's see if they can actually crack the real barrier here, the hardest line of turrets to crack. If they can get inside the base is the real story. They do back off to go spend a lot of that global gold that they just got from all of these wins.
Yeah. And acquire one more set and then get their purchases in. Dragon spawns right now.
Cherry on top for Cloud9 here. See if we can take a look at the gold now for Cloud9. How much is everybody holding on to? Yeah, everybody with the global gold right there.
And you're seeing down the line every single roll now out farming their opposition. The specific one being Meteos, who's up almost 2,500 over Dominate. Largely from globals, but also, I mean, 2-1 and 6 is a good score line there. So A lot of really big guys there for Cloud9. It's going to take some time for Curse to catch up with.
Looks like only 2 members must go by, though, for Cloud9. Just the solo laners here. So they might wait around even longer. Yeah, okay. So they're waiting for the other 3 guys to buy, but look what they did. They stole another blue buff away. That's very strong when you're trying to push and trying to crack into the inhibitor turret line, because Voyboy on Lulu has great wave clear. He's got plenty of AP with the Athenes plus Death Cap. If you can deny that blue buff for him, then maybe that will give you an extra edge that you need to get inside.
Yeah, it could be pretty good for these guys. I like their style, too. They're kind of taking the entire map before they recall go for push number, 3.
Yeah. Also denying the blue buff from Voyboy. Yeah. Inside the base, he can swing from a side lane up to any other lane very quickly just by spamming his speed buff on himself.
Yeah.
So even though you have TF as Cloud9, Voyboy is fine with defending that lane as Lulu. If he has blue buff, he can move around very quickly and clear the lanes. But denying that, he's going to eventually run out.
So did you know, with Sneaky's build, you actually shouldn't buy Last Whisper third on Corki. Because you have no physical damage spells that matter. So you're better off buying crit.
Yeah, a lot of his AD or attack damage portion of his ratios is going to come from his auto attacks. We always talk about how Corki's really split and the difference between the boots, but I like the third item split as well.
Yeah, so we'll see, but he's going to mill out with his team level 15. They look for the mid inhibitor turret.
Also, just looking at the items here, not a lot of armor even purchased for Curse.
Yeah.
So the penetration is going to be even less effective for him here, because Jack's not going for the Randuins as his second or as his first defensive item.
Yeah, he's really afraid of just getting bursted out by High into like a couple of rockets. We'll see if Balls to press him as well, though, because he's decently big, and we're seeing the split back and forth. Koff actually using half his health bar. Might see that, I assume, by High to get him that low, but these turrets really aren't taking very much damage here. You're seeing how gun-shy Cloud9 is. Baron buff is off of them. They get a couple of attacks down. It's 1/4 of the health bar off.
All right, so the crunch time is now, because Cloud9, they've only got one more wave before Jax is on their inhibitor turret. Curse are trying to hold out with the 4-man squad. Expect to see Cloud9 make their move.
They go for Dominate. Good damage comes in. He's going to repel up into the air, but there comes the dive. Anyway, Balls goes up. Nice knockups come around, and Dominate one hit from Dead. He goes down. 1 kill picked up. Now Balls forced one away. Oh, he does not take the rocket, though, from Jinx. The turret goes down now. 1 for 0 so far. The fight meters in the front line, but he is tanky. As I mentioned before, someone heal comes out. Special getting healed up. Kill picked up by Sneaky. Now dueling Kopp, and Kopp is huge. He's forcing him away. The zap does not quite land, but the re-engage from Quas could speed the fight. Can he get enough there? Lemonation is low. 1 hit from Dead. They can't quite find it. There we go. Jinx is excited. Balls goes down. Quas falls as well. But can they get High? They've got to be careful. Zap gonna get flashed away. Oh! Dodging. Gold card. Damage. Kill picked up. Only Voyboy's alive.
I love watching fights that are played so well like this. Cloud9, they maneuver the people with very little health left to the back line, and they keep switching them in as their crowd control opens. You get this little window where you can go aggressive once again as the gold cards come out, as the stuns from Renekton come out. Everybody playing that fight so well, swinging to the back line when they're low, and then coming back in for burst damage once they're safe with crowd control. Let's take a look at it here. Cloud9, they rushed this because, as we said, Jax is on the inhibitor turret with the next wave. So they force his teleport back, going for this very deep dive. Now, good focus here on the turret. They finish it off so that Balls does not go down. And Balls was able to survive way longer than he should in this fight. They aren't able to take him down, and the regeneration really helping him out. This is what we're talking about. All 3 members low life swing to the back line. A couple red cards are very unfortunate for Cloud9, or they would have been able to burst early here. But Lemonation kind of bait there. 2 more stuns come out, and some more damage from Cloud9. Then they run away until another gold card comes up. Immediately reinitiate with the gold card. Burst comes back in, and Minos, luckily for Cloud9, does not go down to that glitter lance. So close there for Curse.
That was extremely close.
They still have a window, though. Curse, if they can hold on, they only had that 1 turret go down. See if they actually fall prey to the Baron dance, though.
Well, right now, 10,000 gold difference. Looks like Curse are ready to contest this. They sit around the mid lane. Balls has his teleport, though, and a split push in the bottom lane. Of course, that is an opened inhibitor. So a real concern for Curse, who don't have TP for another minute right now on Quas.
You saw how close that fight was, though, for Curse. Curse still have a very real chance of stalling this out and overtaking Cloud9.
Yeah, I mean, think about the last fight where Dominate went down. Imagine if he wasn't 3,000 gold down on Meteos. If he had a Randuin's, he survives the initial fight, gets a stun on Corki, wreaks havoc in the back line. That fight goes a very different way. Cloud9 only able to win the fights because of their gold lead when they're diving turrets like this. And again, the clock is still something that is very much against them, so they've got to keep this pressure going. Yeah. The two top laners meet up on that southern side of the map. Quas, though, 30 seconds away from TP. Small win for C9. Looks like they're going to clear wards again.
Yeah. I mean, we have been sort of looking at this game a lot from Cloud9's perspective, but that's because there's more pressure on Cloud9 to make the play and to perform because there is that timer where Curse can... Ooh, it looks like they are going to go for the Baron Dance.
Pretty risky. Health bar's getting low. Meteos running out in a little bit. TF ulti comes in. Will he find something? Yes, he goes for Dominate. Chompers come down, hits up high. But you're going to see Dominate now in the front lines to jump in. The hook, the stun, the damage. And they pick up 1 for 0 so far. Jinx Rocket comes out, but Balls tanks it. No damage from the ulti. And in the back line, Quas does what he can, but he can only find so much damage. Meanwhile, Balls cannot be stopped, so Jax goes down. 2 for 0. Meteos and Balls, the tank line just will not go down. 3 kills picked up. And now Curse running away, dodging away from the slows and getting out to their base.
And you see the difference in endgame here with Renekton and Jax. Jax does have the advantage in smaller fights where he's not getting spammed with crowd control, but where Balls is deep in Curse's 4-man squad and where Quas is tanking up the Cloud9 squad, those two guys don't get to do much except soak up damage. Quas was... Oh, this is going to be the end of the game. We'll wrap that up later.
Turret number 1 goes down. Turret number 2, the focus now 3 versus 5 inside the base. Do Curse have enough right here? They're going in for the Nexus. There comes Special on the side. Gets hooked up for the damage. Still going in Nexus. A couple hits from Dead. They're going to be able to get it. Stuns come out, and there's the game. Cloud9 make it happen.
Well, congratulations to Cloud9 there. They were able to ride that mid-game wave that we were waiting for.
Yeah,
very successfully. It was a really close game, well fought by Curse. They made some very, very impressive early game moves to even up that gold and keep it even in the early game.
Yeah.
Not letting Cloud9 snowball very early on, but a couple crucial team fights late for Cloud9. Some very good TF initiations.
Yeah.
Pulled it around for them.
The one I got a question on Curse's side, though, is that first big dragon fight. We talked about Quas not having TP available, knowing that Balls did, and they're like, cool, guys, let's fight 4v5.
Yeah.
And they went 1 for 3 just for a turret kill.
That was really what swung it in favor of Cloud9. And they will regret that one and look it over, but it's a small mistake. A couple of seconds really making the difference there. What I was going to say about the Jax versus Renekton, it doesn't matter how well Jax scales in the late game because he's not able to auto-attack. If he's in the middle of 4 members, he was constantly crowd control in that last fight. And Renekton, Balls, was happy doing the same thing because all he is a giant meaty tank sitting in the middle of 4 members. And he's actually burning people down with his ultimate while he's sitting in crowd control.
Yeah.
So that's how you equalize the end game of Renekton and Jax.
Yeah.
Fill both of them up with crowd control.
I thought that was actually really interesting, the difference in builds. And I know the standard Jax build